Afternoon, stars. Thanks for tuning in to WBTV. I'm Landon Vaught.
I'm Jalen Latham.
Today is Monday, March 18th, and there are 289 days remaining in 2024. Let's check today's headlines.
President Vladimir Putin wins re-election.
Coins for a Cause is down to the Elite Eight.
And this week is Disability Awareness Week.
And now for the question of the day. The question is, who is the richest man in history?
Email radiotv@wb.rtv and Outlook, or you can give us a call at extension 3134 if you think you know the answer.
She said, be honest with how you feel. I said, that's easier said than done. I said, don't worry about the future. She said, that's easier said than done. Well, it is.
In our top story, President Vladimir Putin extended his reign over Russia in a landslide election. The longtime leader of Russia announced on Monday his desire to advance deeper into Ukraine and even mentioned the possibility of war with the West. Putin will be starting his sixth term and is considered the longest-serving Russian leader since Catherine the Great, who ruled in the 18th century.
This week, we will be celebrating Disability Awareness Month with a dress-up week. This includes Monday, Together Everyone Achieves More, wear your favorite sports team gear. Tuesday, Life is Better with a Buddy, dress up as twins with a friend. Wednesday, Sense What You Need, wear a sweatshirt. Thursday, It's Okay to Be Different, wear mismatched clothes. And Friday, Spread the Word to End the Word, wear your red, white, and blue.
Coins for a Cause is down to the Elite Eight. Congratulations to Mr. Burke, Mrs. Foxworthy, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Baird, Mr. Brunty, Mrs. Scott, Mr. Haney, and Mrs. Gillingham for making it. Mrs. Martin's class raised $665, but were knocked out by Mr. Haney's class in the first round. We'll be back with weather after this quick break.
Taking a look at our weather, you can see it's a pretty chilly day outside. It's 32 degrees outside with the wind coming in from the southeast at 14 miles per hour. The sun rose at 7:50 this morning and will set at 7:57 tonight. Take a look at our radar. You can see that there's scattered snow flurries all across central Indiana with some pretty concentrated snow spots in the Franklin area. Take a look at our extended forecast. You can see Tuesday is cloudy skies with a high of 54 and a low of 25. Wednesday gives us sunny skies with a high of 45 and a low of 30. And Thursday gives us a high of 44 with a low of 25 with partly cloudy skies. That's all for weather. We'll be back with the answer to the question of the day after we see what Blake, Cannon, and John have been up to.
Fingers, singing my life with his words, killing his.
Who is the hottest one in the room? Definitely got to go with John, to be completely honest.
John. I can compete because Christian isn't here. Who is the best Mexican train player? A, Mrs. Butler, or B, Mr. Foxworthy? I'm going to have to say Mrs. Butler.
I'm going to say Mr. Foxworthy so I don't get fired.
I prefer not to answer, Mrs. Butler. Why does Mr. Hawkins gives us so much work? Well, I don't know, because he's a teacher. He's supposed to give you work. You dummies.
Well, maybe he gives you so much work because you said gives instead of give, so it's like improper English and stuff, so maybe that's why.
I'm not good with English.
This one's from Mr. Cunningham. Why does Purdue always choke in March Madness?
Yeah.
I think they always choke because they don't play really well.
My answer is because they don't got that dog in them, so.
Why can IU never make it to March Madness? They just don't have the march.
They don't got that dog in them.
They're just also not very good. News.
And now, for the answer to the question of the day, who was the richest man in history?
If you said Mansa Musa, then you are correct.
The students who answered correctly are Rex Stanley, Artie Millizer, Bailey Hagg, Arnold Calhoun, Elijah Bishop, Alexander Thompson, Hannah Bowman, Alexander Velasquez, Abigail Scott, Alyssa Sparks, Emma McLean, Loram Grant, Mason Amick, Ella Kale, Perry McClaskey, and Logan Evelinka.
And the teachers who answered correctly are Mr. Brunty, Mrs. Markinette, Mrs. McClaskey, Mrs. Owen, Mr. Riggins, Mrs. J. Taylor, Mrs. A. Taylor. And now for the trivia leaderboard. Mr. Baird leads the teachers.
That's all for today's broadcast. Thanks for tuning in, stars. I'm Jen Latham.
And I'm Landon Vaught, and from all of us here at WBTV, have a great day.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills